So you know that part in a movie where there's a character looking down a long, dark tunnel, and you're watching this thing going, whatever you do, don't go down the tunnel. Whatever you do, just don't go in. And yet the character's like, there's these creepy noises there. There's these creaking sounds. I got to go figure out what that is. That's where we are right now in the world. That's where we are with our markets. And unfortunately, it feels like everyone wants to go into the tunnel and see what the investigation is going to lead to. Unfortunately, you guys know it never leads to anything good. I want to give you some updates about this tunnel and where we're going, be it from Canada, Germany, US, and what's going on with Trump and Musk. Let's just jump right in. So, this was the news and headlines today. Finance Minister shocks Canada by quitting amid rift over fiscal policy and Trump. Basically, she's like, yo, Trudeau, I don't want to go down that dark tunnel. Forget about it. Don't even ask me again. She quit right before she was supposed to give a big presentation. It was like a couple hours before. So this was by surprise and basically shows that there's a major problems happening in Canada. They're dealing with Trump coming into office, and they're also dealing with their own economic pains, and Trump essentially is making it worse. This is the situation. She says that she was at odds about the best path forward for Canada. So, again, this is Trudeau's finance minister. She quits. She also says here, our country today faces a grave challenge. Her name is Freeland, and we need to take that threat seriously. That means keeping our fiscal powder dry so we have the reserves we may need for the coming tariff war. That means eschewing costly political gimmicks, which we can ill afford, which makes Canadians doubt that we recognize the gravity of the moment. So evidently, she's not thrilled with some of the solutions that Trudeau has been putting forward. I guess in Canada, you guys like suspended some of your, sales tax so that you're trying to get people to shop more. And they were even giving rebates to people, basically just giving people a bunch of money. It was like $250 check. So if you got your check, please let me know. I believe this was for Canadians who make 150,000 or less. And there was a bunch of Canadians that qualify for this thing, so they're just printing out money, giving out people. 18.7 million Canadians, I guess, could have gotten this check. And the categories they're trying to get you to buy stuff on, it was really interesting here. It was all sorts of stuff. Yeah, here it is. Grab and go meals, restaurant bills, snack items, alcohol, children's clothing and toys, books, newspapers, puzzles, and get this, Christmas trees. So they want to make sure you're buying Christmas trees. The problem is, and actually, I've seen this before, several times where a country will say, hey, we're just trying to get you all shopping again, so no sales tax. Is they're worried about the economy, right? Needing people out there shopping, make sure everyone has jobs, etc. But when you cut taxes, you're also worsening your deficit situation. And this is not just Canada. You have it in USA, you have it in Germany. And in fact, it's so bad in Germany, they got a vote of no confidence on their chancellor. And so it's not just Germany. We also had an impeachment of our president here in Korea. There is so much instability going on right now in the world. And frankly, Frank, it's a couple of reasons. One is to slow down the economy, and two is Donald Trump. Trump is causing a lot of, well, essentially, we know he's at the end of the tunnel here. Everyone wants to go down there, I guess, and causing a lot of just anxiety because of his tariff threats, which really rupture everything on, so again, you have the slowing economy on top of more tariffs, which will basically make problems worse. The other thing going on with Canada is they cut rates, I guess 50 basis points. This is a couple times in a row now, and they're worried about growth in Canada. Unemployment is really bad up there. And for Canadians, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this thing. What are people throwing around? What do you think the solution is? In my personal opinion, I just think a lot of these things that are happening are very, very deep problems, right? Deficit spending, high cost of housing, inflation, which I think it's come down from where it was, but it's obviously still a concern for Canadians, unemployment. And now Trump coming into office and just like, great, what do we do now? Because essentially, if Trump causes, costs of goods to increase in Canada, Canada may have a trade war back. That's the threats right now. Canada's thinking about raising export taxes, so basically trying to squeeze the USA. This is in uranium, oil, and potash. So, this is essentially, who does this benefit, right? Trump is basically making enemies from our friends. I would say Canada's our friend. I mean, yes, we make jokes about Canada, stuff like that, but I would not say they're our enemies in any way, shape, or form. People who like Trump, they say, well, we voted for Trump because he's going to kick out the dark people and he's going to bring an iron fist and show everyone who's the boss. But the reality is, people are just like, yeah, Trump's back again. He's trying to show people who the boss is, but we actually don't like the boss. We want to go find a different job. It's essentially what's going on. And in my opinion, because they don't necessarily want Trump to be the boss, they'll probably make, slash new companies, and maybe new trade alliances with other countries. That's sort of how I see it happening as USA goes further into isolation. Now, on the positive note, and this is where it gets interesting. I completely understand people who are in, say, Tesla or Bitcoin, because in the markets, you're like, oh my God, my Tesla, my Bitcoin are going to the moon. Trump is absolutely fantastic. And essentially what's going on is you're seeing Trump preference, a couple of industries, be it your, well, we'll just say Tesla, or your crypto slash AI nonsense. I guess the idea is that we're going to Ponzi our way out of the problems that we're in. And some people are buying into the Ponzi. And if you're making lots of money on the Ponzi, please let me know how much you've made. But I'll make this really, really clear. You don't make any munzi, munzi on the Ponzi. You don't make any munzi on the Ponzi until you sell, right? So essentially, how this game is played is you got to keep getting new money in, attracting your friends, telling all your people on social media to, get into these Bitcoinies and Teslas. But ultimately, there's going to be some people who are left holding the bag. My bet it's going to be January where this thing peaks, but I mean, who knows exactly when the top's going to be? But that would just be kind of my guess. But already we're in, bubble frothy territory. Maybe everyone's thinking January, and so they sell before then, and then rumor gets out, oh, well, he's selling, well, I'm going to sell too, and we'll see. But the issue is that what I find so really interesting about this stuff is everyone's trying to give a reason, a rational reason of why your Tesla's worth so much or your Bitcoin's worth so much. But there's sometimes the markets aren't really rational. It's just a Ponzi. It's just a bunch of marketing and hype, and everyone's buying in, and people are like, oh, well, that's gone up, it must go up more, so I'll keep buying. And I put these two together because it's just like stark contrast to what's going on in the real world, where people don't have jobs yet we're all buying Ponzi's. There was even an interesting article recently out of Barron's. They were talking about, I guess, kids these days are gambling with video game skins. I was unaware of this stuff. It's Counter-Strike, which is like a really old game. So if you guys gamble on these things, let me know. I just didn't know people did that. And I guess there's all these websites out there where you can auction these things off, and people are doing that. And so this kind of mentality as kids, when you're gambling with Counter-Strike skins, and then you move into your Robinhood accounts, etc., and now you're gambling on meme stocks, cryptos, and Tesla slash AI. That's the market that we're in, but I think it's going to pop relatively soon, but we'll see. This is also an announcement today, and I'm just kind of giving you guys what's going on. SoftBank pledges 100 billion U.S. investment at a Trump event, and Trump's been raising money like crazy for his, AI slash crypto ventures. This is the quote coming from Trump talking about SoftBank and Masasoya-san. He says here, he's doing this from Trump. He's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election. Demonstration of confidence in America's future. Okay. And then Sun says, I'm very, very excited. I would like to celebrate the great victory of President Trump, and my confidence level to the economy of the United States has tremendously increased with the victory. That's according to him. Now, what they're doing is they're promising, I think I have right here, 100 billion. It's going to be, it is 100 billion. It's crazy. And then they guess they're saying they're going to create 100,000 jobs focused on artificial intelligence and related infrastructure. So be it data centers, semiconductors, energy, etc. And that's the question I pose to you is, do you think all these people who don't have jobs now are suddenly going to be all working in AI? And if you understand what AI is, it's essentially designed to replace you. So how is that going to play out in the end game? Like what's the end game? So theoretically, let's just let's play devil's advocate and say theoretically Trump and Masasoya-san are right. we're gonna burst and boom the economy, or burst or boom then burst the economy, I guess you could say, with their AI cryptocurrency stuff. And everyone gets jobs in the beginning because we build all these data centers. Okay, so once we finish building said data centers, and once we start pouring all this money and stuff, and then we have AI who can replace people at the office, what happens to everyone else? You guys see what I'm saying? So I feel like this is a temporary bump in this kind of technology, and that's assuming this technology even works. So let's pretend it works, and then everyone's jobs replaced. Then you got no one has any jobs. Let's say it doesn't work. Okay, let's say we invest all this money into these AI cryptos and infrastructure to support said thing, and then suddenly at the end of the day, maybe 5 months from now, whatever, we figure out it doesn't work, that it was all bubble, it pops, and we wasted all of our resources on said things. Maybe everybody moved to these new crypto towns, right? Because they were all promised jobs and 10-year contracts or whatever. Suddenly there's no money, and you got a bunch of unemployed people in a new city that's not paid for, that was paid for by debt and crypto. That's sort of where I see things going. And again, I feel like we're at the edge of that dark tunnel. And I'm like, please don't go down the tunnel. Please go down the tunnel. And people are like, whoa, but there's AI and crypto down the tunnel. I'm just like, are you stupid or something? And that's sort of where we are. The other part that which I'm going to share is this is actually a funny thing. Elon Musk is tweeting out that Tesla has the best real world AI by far. And again, all of the Tesla fanboys and fangirls are singing praises to AI, saying how awesome it's going to be. But this is the question I pose to you. If it is indeed so awesome, why is Musk pushing Trump to essentially hide the crash data from their AI driven cars from the rest of us? That's what's going on, right? They're saying it's awesome on the surface, but behind the scenes, they want to hide all the data from you. And you put this stuff all together, guys, that's where we're going, right? It is, and that's why I use the dark tunnel analogy. It's like I can see it, and I just don't know if anyone else can see it. Or I guess, are we purposely putting on blindfolds, pretending there's going to be good news at the end of the tunnel? And to be perfectly frank, I understand people's perspectives, right? They're just like, but Chris, things are really, really bad now. We got to try something. I mean, when things, are awful, the best solution is just go to Vegas, roll the dice, put it all on, the roulette table, and we got a 1 in 20 chance to save the day. The problem is, though, you have 19 out of 20 chances where things could get a lot worse. And in my opinion, I think that's where things are going. So I'd be very, very careful out there. In my opinion, just be safe. I understand that there's certain bubble things that are going to the moon, but the way that game is played is, once the big boys and the big girls start getting out, essentially the whales, the ants, right, which is you, are going to be stuck, left holding the bag for years, and maybe never get your money back again. So thanks again for your time, everyone. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll catch you on the next video.